Well, Donald Trump and Ted Cruz were already the candidates that most people were looking to for fireworks tonight, and boy, they did not disappoint. After days of Trump questioning Cruz's U.S. citizenship, well, not his citizenship, but his ability to be president, because he's suggesting he wasn't a natural-born citizen born in the U.S., and what that could mean for his presidential bid, Cruz hit back hard. Trump wasn't having it. And here are some new clips from the fight that dominated tonight's debate.
You know, back in September, my friend Donald said that he had had his lawyers look at this from every which way. And there was no issue there. There was nothing to this birther issue. Now, since September, the Constitution hasn't changed. But the poll numbers have.
I already know the Democrats are going to be bringing a suit. You have a big lawsuit over your head while you're running, and if you become the nominee, who the hell knows if you can even serve in office? So you should go out, get a declaratory judgment, let the courts decide, and you shouldn't have mentioned the polls because that would have been much different.
Why now? Why are you raising this issue now?
Because now he's doing a little bit better. No, I didn't care before. It's true. No, it's true.
Well, listen, I've spent my entire life defending the Constitution before the U.S. Supreme Court, and I'll tell you, I'm not going to be taking legal advice from Donald Trump.
You don't have to.
And I'll tell you what, Donald, you very kindly just a moment ago offered me the VP slot. I'll tell you what. If this all works out, I'm happy to consider naming you as VP, and so if you happen to be right, you could get the top job at the end of the day.
Joining me now, Fox News digital politics editor Chris Stirewalt and host of Fox News Media Buzz, Howie Kurtz. Great to see you both. Stirewalt, what'd you think?
Well, I'll tell you what, you can't take anything away from what Trump came back with later in the debate, and he had that great answer about 9/11, and he beat Cruz very decisively in that one. But in this, the first and most anticipated exchange, Cruz gets a clear win. And as a matter of fact, it wasn't just a clear win for Cruz. It was the first time any candidate in the field in any debate had ever done the full tango with Donald Trump and won. So that was something pretty remarkable.
It was remarkable, actually, and you know, Cruz obviously was prepared for it and was ready to handle it. But we saw a more robust Donald Trump tonight, too, because he's been much more subdued in these debates. Tonight he seemed ready to rumble, Howie.
You know, this was Donald Trump's strongest debate performance by a lot, as he would say, a much more seasoned performer than in the early debates. So I don't think he was really hurt tonight. But I have to agree, especially in that birther exchange, which everybody was waiting to see how Cruz would fight back after a week of really being tormented by the media, pushed by Trump, how he'd handle it. He went toe-to-toe on that stage. This was a two-man, top-tier, toe-to-toe show between these two guys, and I might give it to Cruz on points because, as Chris says, he's the only Republican who's been able to do that with Trump's mastery of the format.
Chris, on the question of the New York values, you know, which Trump, pretty much everybody agrees Trump won that exchange. It must have been a calculation, right, on Cruz's part that even if it's going to cost me with New Yorkers, what do I care about New York? Like, I need to win in Iowa, and they're going to get this. Am I wrong?
Well, I don't know that you're wrong. I am loath to give politicians that much credit for forethought. I'm going to guess in this case that Cruz probably knew that he had something of a dilly of a pickle on his hands because, again, he knew what was out there. As Charles Krauthammer pointed out, he knew that Trump had that 9/11 answer. He had already played with it and explored it in a media appearance earlier. So Cruz knew he had it. So, look. If life gives you lemons, you can make the lemonade, and Cruz did as well as he could. But, boy, Trump hit it out of the park in the response, so it was not worth it.
He was trying to go after this, and he mentioned the Tim Russert clip. Donald Trump in that Tim Russert clip years ago phrased it a little differently. Here's just a snippet when they had an exchange about basically social issues. Listen.
How about gays serving in the military?
It would not disturb me. Again, I'd want to talk to lots of experts within the military, but it's not something that would disturb me. I mean, hey, I lived in New York City and Manhattan all my life, okay? So, you know, my views are a little bit different than if I lived in Iowa, perhaps.
My views are a little bit different than if I lived in Iowa. So Trump had said it. If Cruz had stuck with views, he might have done much better, Howie.
Well, putting aside the fact that I'm a New Yorker, let's just say that some reporters here in South Carolina were shown that 1999 Tim Russin interview before this debate, obviously scripted by Ted Cruz. But the reason I don't think it packed as much punch is we all know that in the 90s Trump supported Democrats, that he identified with issues like pro-choice on abortion. It doesn't seem to have hurt him. He has changed his position on that.
All right, let me shift gears then. Let me shift gears and ask you about the other candidates on the stage. There were some. And whether you think any had an impact tonight, Chris. Krauthammer mentioned Rubio. What say you? Rubio or anybody else make a mark for you?
Oh, Rubio's in, right? So Rubio's top three. Rubio continued to be the candidate other than Cruz and Trump that was in the discussion, made a credible discussion. And I think if you're doing it in order, you give it to Cruz narrowly on points, and then you have Trump, and then you have Rubio. And the rest of the guys, come on, right?
Stick a fork in them?
No, I mean, not stick a fork in them. They have to go through, it's like a grieving process. They have to go through this whole thing to, like, get to acceptance, and it hurts and everything. And you have all
Denial.
the buttons made up, and it feels so good.
Bargaining.
But then you're not going to be president, and then that's stinky.
Howie?
Well, I thought that Rubio and Christie mixed it up pretty well. Both men scored points. Rubio always is a very solid and effective debater, but in this one I thought he was so totally overshadowed by the Ted and Trump show that nobody in America is going to be talking about him tomorrow. And for the next week, those clips that you just played are going to be resounding through the media echo chamber. It's a two-man race going in. It's a two-man race as we stand here in Charleston.
Exciting. Great to see you both.